Because we're making these tips for you.
Yeah.
But obviously somebody needs to write these down too, because Hello everybody and welcome to episode 2 of Page 1 of Some, the place where I am making a difference eventually, and I don't have all the answers, but I am starting the conversations. Today I am excited to say I have my first ever guest, Ghazala. She is employed at the Ryerson School of Business, and she is here to help me discuss New Year's resolutions and goals as a whole. Yes. So, say a student comes to you and they're like, I need to make a New Year's resolution. I need to accomplish something. I need to do something. I need something for Instagram to put on to say I'm doing something so I can hashtag. What would you say to them?
I take a minute to take it a step back, and I would say dig a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I know how important resolutions are. They've been to me for a very long time, but I'm entering a new chapter in my life, and I feel that it's so important for us to look. We all have a purpose. You have a purpose. You're living your purpose right now. Shout out to Paige. No, I am so blessed to be one of our first guests. No big deal. No, but actually, you're living out your purpose. So I would actually use you as an example. As someone who is, saying this is something that I feel like I'm being called to do. We all have a calling. Some of us may not know what that calling is yet, and that's the beauty of life is, that search, that journey to figure out what that is. And if you know it, it's now your responsibility to live that.
Yes.
So, in terms of resolution, then what are the steps that I'm going to take to bring that to life? Yeah.
Definitely, and I think too, if we look back at the typical resolution, so the waking up early, the losing weight, anything, if you have that bigger purpose, all those things will come. Say, for example, waking up early. You kind of need to or want to wake up earlier because you want to get things done because you do have that bigger purpose.
Exactly.
And all those smaller resolutions kind of fall into place. So with that being said, what is your resolution?
Oh gosh. So I've wanted to do this for too long. It's something called Her Voice. It's a company that I want to start to just highlight young women of color who are just killing it in this game right now, that aren't getting the recognition. They have struggled, and right now they're on the brink of thriving. And I want to just bring who they are to life. And I feel like that's my purpose.
So, with that being said, let's get into our 5 ways to make your New Year's resolution successful. Tip number 1, you want to start small. You want to be realistic. I would say choose one thing and something that is time bound. So you can say, I want to be a good person. I want to help the world. You can do that your entire life. But what time is going to be set? What deadline do you have to make that happen? So let's switch this over to G. You just talked about Her Voice.
Yes.
What day is it going to come out?
Oh my gosh, I was not ready for that question. Oh my gosh, I actually was thinking my birthday.
Yeah, okay.
June 4th.
June 4th. All right, so.
Oh snap, okay.
So that's it.
Okay.
June 4th.
I was wow.
Yeah, so it's always surprises here at Page 1 of Some, and it is something that's realistic. So she has 6 months to make that happen, and we are choosing one thing. So when we use G as an example, Her Voice has a big concept, but her one thing is to make that come to life. So June 4th, Her Voice is coming.
Number 2 is to create short-term goals. So as we've just heard, myself included, Her Voice is launching June 4th, 2019. I actually am like shaking saying that. And so, wow, let's work backwards. You know exactly what it is that you want to do at some point in this year. What you're going to do to make that happen.
Exactly. Those small steps that you take. So I just want to give another example too. So for Page 1 of Some to happen, G,
oh my gosh,
was called me and she's like, Paige, you need to make this happen. We're gonna have conference calls every Friday and we're gonna make these short-term goals, and what are we gonna do here? Today you make your logo, today you do this, and all that, on and on and on. I think we did that for about 3 months. And today we're making you a video. So it works. Okay, now tip number 3. Track your progress. So no matter what goal you have, when you're creating those short-term goals, it can simply be writing everything down. Check mark. You're losing weight, mark down what you're doing. If you're eating healthy, mark down something. If there's all these little milestones you're passing, mark it down. And when I say track, don't only track the positives. You want to track the negative things too, because you want to look back and be like, I went through that, and I made it happen. I overcame it, and look at me now.
Everybody loves a good underdog story. So, you know what I mean? It's
Definitely.
like, you know what it's going to take for you to get there, and it's not going to be pretty. So just recognize that from the beginning, and anytime you fall back, it's like, all right, how am I going to, take it 2 steps forward?
Number 4, talk to your friends and family. Ask for support. Share your goals. Put it out there so they know what is going on with you. What else would you add to that?
Oh, wow. Huge. That's so important. We have to check in. We have to just be our authentic selves. Sometimes we want to just, retreat and say, like, I'm good, everything's perfect, but in actuality, we all know, even if Instagram isn't showing that, we're not all good, and we need to just be real with ourselves and be real with one another, and that's what helps us move forward.
Exactly. And I think you need that support, and sometimes you need people to check you. Like, I am that friend when you're like, even though I eat McDonald's a lot, someone's like, oh, I want to eat healthy and I want to do all this stuff and I want to be healthier, and then we go to eat and you're ordering like burgers. I'll be like, so what happened to that New Year's resolution last week? Well, that's why you have to tell people so they can check you and let you know, and then you're like, okay, let me stop.
Yeah. Number 5 is to not beat ourselves up. I love that because I think we're all afraid to fail.
Yes.
And we need to just kind of take a step back and say that's inevitable. You know what I mean? We're going to take an L many times this year. So let's recognize that and let that be a setup. You know what I mean? Let us set us up for success instead. Like in previous number 4, check in with your loved ones, and just really recognize that you have a support system and community that's really, there to propel you. And
Exactly. And I am, to add on to that, I'm a strong believer. I can't even speak. I'm failing right now. There's an L. I am a strong believer in failing fast. I feel like failure kind of makes you the person that you are today, and I feel like failing is a positive thing because it's something that you learn from, and I think it kind of gives you a story that, it didn't just come easy to you. You had to kind of work and you had to build, and you went through these milestones, and I think it kind of goes back to my previous episode having to do with wanting to be perfect and going through all these steps and misconceptions in your mind where it's relatable, it's vulnerable, everyone's going through the same thing.
We kind of look at it like such a negative thing, and to your point, fail fast, and it's inevitable. I mentioned that, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna take L's, and that's been my journey when it comes to her voice right now. I've been so fearful of failure. So failure becomes a fear of ours, and it actually stops us from reaching our resolutions, our goals, our visions, our callings.
So
and if I'm honest with you, my biggest fear in life is to not answer my calling. So because her voice, I feel, is my calling, I think I'm so fearful that I'm not going to live up to that expectation that I feel that I'm called to, you know what I mean? Like, be that person in this world. It almost stopped me completely. And it's really hard to admit actually right now. And so being here right now, we kind of joked about it earlier, but I was trying to figure out 101 ways that I could get out of this, because this is not what I do at all. And I'm here right now, and I feel like this is me saying, you know what, let me just step outside of myself for a second. I think that's what it's going to take for some of us to say, there's so many reasons why this isn't going to happen, but there's one reason, and that one reason is our calling. So to listen to that, and only that.
And one thing too, always, I've mentioned countless times, the hardest thing to do is start. We are so hard on ourselves, and for anyone who knows G as a person, she is super supportive, and she is someone that will help you build on your ideas as she has with mine. But when it comes towards something of your own, you do become so hard on yourself, and it goes back to this misconception of perfection and why we overthink things, because we already know her voice, it's going to be successful. It's just you have to understand that. And that's why I'm glad that today we're making these 5 tips, because we're making these tips for you. But obviously somebody needs to write these down too, because and make it happen, because June 4th is coming either way. So I think in June we'll really know if these tips work, and I hope they work for you. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know some of your resolutions. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for having me.
Cut.